Hi everyone, Jim Paterson from Discovery Group. Tonight we're here at Discovery Days Gold event at the beautiful Exchange Hotel, and we have the honor of Randy Smallwood, CEO of Wheaton Precious. He gave our keynote speech today, and it was not only on Wheaton. He was told he would talk a little bit about that, but it was also the World Gold Council. And Randy, I guess, maybe just expound on this comment. We're ready for a major ripper gold market. Take it away.
Well, it's the fundamentals are all there for gold. But on top of that, a lot of things that we're doing at the World Gold Council, I think will change the way gold is viewed around the world, right? And there's such an appetite for a strong gold-backed currency, something that's asset-backed. There's such an appetite to move away from fiat currencies in this world. And the technology's there. It's only a matter of us delivering it, setting it up so that it's a trustworthy system. It's got good fungibility, good provenance behind it, where you can understand and have confidence in terms of not only what the gold is, where it's come from. It's just the opportunity here is incredible in terms of where we can go.
So it's called the 24/7 program?
Yeah, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, how does a retail person buy that or buy into it or participate?
Well, we're not there yet. We're still building the system, right? And the challenge that we don't want to come on with a retail focused system. What we want to do is make sure that the regulators and the institutional investors and the banks, the bullion banks, all embrace this. Yeah. And so we're in the process of trying to build this as a co-authored system where we're working with what we call the G20, the Gold 20 group, which is a collection of bullion trading banks, of regulators, of vaulters, of the traders of bullion around the world. And there's even central bank representation for some of the larger ones that are involved in how are we going to build this system? How are we going to digitalize how gold is traded? And once we digitalize it, gold doesn't have to move. It stays in a vault, and you have digital tokens that represent, that are connected through Bitcoin, through blockchain back to that gold in location. And you're allowed, you can fractionalize it, you can move it around. All of a sudden it becomes essentially equal to a currency. And there's just such a demand for it. Everywhere you look around the world, people are looking for access to gold that they can trust. And this is what we're building. It's going to take a while to make sure we have the right infrastructure in place. I'm hoping within the next year we'll have this out and bring it to market.
And do you foresee that people can take delivery of gold if they wish to?
That's Randy's little add-on. Once we get the system set up, once you have the digital exchanges on your phone, what I want is a little red button that says, deliver me my gold. The challenge that we have is in terms of making it purely fungible. Once we deliver gold, we have to be, ideally we'd like to be able to bring it back into the system if someone wants their gold in physical form and then wants to put it back into the system. And so we have to come up with a way, and the technology's there, but that's going to be the next step. Our first step is to come up with a digitalized system that allows gold to stay in one place, but allows each bar to be fractionalized, has good provenance, has good fungibility, has good confidence all the way through, so that you can actually move these digital tokens around and trade gold instantly. It's incredible that in today's world we are still trading gold the way we did 50 years ago, and that's just not, there's no sense to that. And so what we need to do is make sure we come in with a system that isn't designed to be a profit for the gatekeepers. What you need is gatekeepers that are there to make sure that it's a good structural system that is attractive and just builds up that liquidity. And if we start seeing you start seeing a shift away from fiat currencies into an asset-backed currency like what we're talking about here for gold, the potential is enormous in terms of where we can actually go with gold prices. Unfortunately, that volatility might weaken our argument in terms of why, but it's just because, in our eyes, gold is still so undervalued in today's world on a relative basis compared to the fiat currencies of the world.
The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust is a good example of how it actually cleaned up the market and made it less opaque.
Right.
And I think it made it much more appealing to larger institutional investors. So have you done any forecasts on how what you're attempting to do might increase demand or volume of trading?
Well, I think it comes down to how much of the world wants to get rid of their US dollars and euros?
Most.
Like, there's a huge scale
Yeah.
of potential responses, all of which, of course, to the positive.
Wow.
And so if you want to shift away to the point of where you have an actual currency that is backed by hard assets, just think of the potential scale. Every couple of weeks we hear about another gathering of BRICS nations trying to find a way to come up with a currency that isn't referenced to the US dollar. And this is what we're creating. And so incredible potential.
Can we shift gears for 1 second?
Love to.
This time in the market is the time when companies like Wheaton will shine. This is your wheelhouse. So tell us about maybe how things have changed today versus a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, I think the real challenge that we face in today's market is that there's so few active investors out there in today's space. Everyone seems to be riding the wave of index funds and doing passive investing and chasing the norm. And that's just wrong for the mining space, particularly for the gold space, because what you're looking for in the gold space is those diamonds in the rough. But you need to be active in order to be able to identify those things. And so, what we're dealing with today is a very, very weak equity market for the developers in this planet, around the world. Wheaton is perfectly positioned to supply that capital and move that forward, right? We're happy to step in. We're actually, within the streaming space, we're now doing what we call an early deposit model, which allows we can invest into projects ahead of the feasibility being complete, ahead of the permits being received. We'll take a bit of that risk in terms of putting our capital in. But our capital, when people are taking our capital, that capital is valued based on the contained metal, not on the equity price.
Right.
And that's a huge advantage for any junior company out there that's trading at 0.2 to 0.3 times that asset value. To be able to sell a small portion of their metal, unmined yet, maybe still waiting for permits and stuff like that, at 1 times that asset value. Every CFO in the world understands the benefit of that and how non-dilutive that is to the existing shareholder base. So, we've got a long list of people. We've never been busier in terms of the number of opportunities we're looking at. What I will say, though, is that right now people aren't building big mines. There's too much concerns about inflation, about high interest rates. You're not seeing the big mine builds. And so most of what we're building right now, $1 billion or less, right? The total capital spend. And for us as a streamer, we're not getting the big deals, but we're getting a lot of $100 to $300 million type deals. We just announced one this afternoon. Another $115 million helping restart a mine to go forward. And I can tell you, I actually think we'll probably have a couple more done before the end of the year, right? That's how busy we are on this front. And our balance sheet is strong. Our company, this year will produce somewhere just over 600,000 gold equivalent ounces. Our guidance is 600 to 660. In 4 years, we're climbing to 1 million gold equivalent ounces. And so we've got incredible cash flow and a very good time to be selective about what we invest back into to help build this industry.
What an amazing time for Wheaton.
It is a very good time.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom about the World Gold Council 24/7 and Wheaton. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy Smallwood.